I just wanted to say a few words about the profound effect of this work. Many of you know what it is, but for newcomers, I wanted to say a few words. As most people, or as most of the people who have heard about this work or have studied it know, it is a basic departure from what is generally taught or assumed to be the basis for technical ability and musical expression. Like all systems that exist in the universe, it's not a simple one and requires years of studying, coming here, going to teacher training in New York and wherever else it is done, exchanging ideas with others who study it, taking frequent lessons to really begin to master it. What this work is known for is the remarkable effect that it has on technical and musical growth, as well as its ability to cure injuries. What most people don't know and should know, and you may want to share it with them, is that the means that we use to cure injuries are the same means, positions and motions that exist underneath an effortless technique. It's exactly the same thing. The correct motions are curative, and those are the same motions that are found underneath a virtuoso technique. So when we help cure your limitations, your difficulties, your injuries, we also give you the tools for a well-functioning technique. It's all one and the same. If you persist and have the right trained teacher in this work, someone who really is highly skillful and knowledgeable, you will have a technique you never imagined you could have. And the next question that most people ask is, how long is it going to take? We know it. And I have a couple of articles, but I wanted to quote from one so that you know that what we say and what we present is actually something that is known in many, many other fields due to research that has been done on what it takes to be great. And this one happens to be from Fortune magazine, October 30th, 2006. And many of the articles have been written, there was a very big one in the New York Times also, generally have to do with how do you develop a great athlete. But this one really, it refers to every field. And one of the things, it's a long article, but one of the things that they say is, which I can't say I totally agree, is that talent has little or nothing to do with greatness. You can make yourself into any number of things, and you can even make yourself great. Scientific experts are producing remarkably consistent findings across a wide array of fields. Understand that talent doesn't mean intelligence, motivation, or personality traits. It's an innate ability to do some specific activity especially well. So talent helps. But we know many talented people in different fields who amount to nothing, and people who seem to have had not such great talent who have gone very far. And another thing that they say is the first major conclusion is that nobody is great without work. It's nice to believe that if you find the field where you are naturally gifted, you'll be great from day one, but it doesn't happen. There is no evidence of high-level performance without experience or practice. Reinforcing that no free lunch finding is vast evidence that even the most accomplished people need around 10 years of hard work before becoming world-class. A pattern so well established, researchers call it the 10-year rule. What about Bobby Fischer, who became a chess grandmaster at 16? Turns out the rule holds. He's had 9 years of intensive study. He just started young. And as John Horn of the University of Southern California and Hiromi Masunaga of California State University observed, the 10-year rule represents very rough estimate, and most researchers regard it as a minimum, not an average. In many fields, music, literature, elite performers need 20 or 30 years experience before hitting their zenith. Now, I believe in what they say because we know what it takes. The problem in our field, of course, you can put it 20 or 30 years doing things and end up injured or end up still unable to do what I said yesterday, that the amount of work that we put in doesn't tally with the effort, with the results that come out. So I think that what has to be added to that there's a 10-year rule to doing when you're doing it correctly. When you're putting in the right information, it still takes that long to really reach greatness. It just doesn't come from some kind of a formula. It comes from knowledge and working things out correctly and consistently. And then I would say 10 years is the minimum. But in our field, very often, we go through the schools, we get our graduate degrees, we come out, and we're not the pianists that we feel we should be after all that time and all that money spent and all those hopes. And then we look around to get help somewhere, and then you Google and you find Taubman or Golandsky, and you come and you say, I have this problem, this problem, this problem. How long would it take? So we are very often in a position to be very disappointing because we do have answers and we can show you how to become great. But this is after you put so many years. So of course the answers, as far as we are concerned, is to do things correctly from the beginning so that you can evolve and develop correctly and quickly. And that's from day one. How do you sit? What's the height? What's the basic position? The understanding that the fingers don't move alone, that they're connected, that the emotions, they are, and this is why we're starting to put out those thin books that Mary started putting together for beginners. And everybody's eating them up. And we're going to edit them and put another version, even more up-to-date version, in the fall, plus the first book on rotation, so that we will have it from the beginning, instead of seeing in all those beginners groups, put an apple or an orange, and curl your fingers, and put them, cover 5 fingers, which immediately creates stretching. And of course, there's no noticing of where the height of the chair is, just those basic things are going to make an enormous difference. So it very much depends how you come to us. You could be a performing pianist who always did very well and something happened along the way. It's very easy for something to go off suddenly. Or someone to say, relax your wrist a little bit, or move your fingers a little bit more, and already something in the combination doesn't work so well. So sometimes it's very easy to correct things and put you on the right track very quickly. Sometimes you come with problems that take some time, and it depends, again, you have to be with the right teacher. And you have to have frequent lessons. When someone says, I've done it for 2 years, and they came 4 or 5 times, that's like 4 or 5 weeks. That's not 2 years. And some people are very skillful. Some people come and think they have attained graduate degrees, but it was never quite right. They just were so committed to playing that they forced through it no matter what. So there's no one answer. We have a training curriculum here in this institute so that we bring up teachers to handle those things as well as quickly as possible, as well as the fact that we always, the faculty, the practice assistants, the students, we all interact with each other all the time. So no one is left alone, and we're always teaching, and we're always learning, and we're always trying to improve. We're always available. So it's really a training organization, I would say, to bring more and more people who can handle things better, and better means quicker. And this is really what we would like it to be, as quick as possible, but it still takes time to learn something that is that profound, and it has to do with an activity that is so complex by itself.